Hi. It's been a long time since I've made a video for YouTube. With 3 kids, it's really difficult for me to get around to filming and editing and stuff and just whatever. Anyway, I want to say that lately, recently, I have decided to practice forgiveness. And I know how that sounds, but hear me out. I am not one to forgive, especially people who have really hurt me. I've never done it before, ever. But lately, I've come to the realization that that's what I need to do right now. That's my character growth requires forgiveness. And without going into incredible detail about why I need to forgive someone or what I need to forgive them for, part of that is my practice now. I have dwelled on it for years, and it has caused, not only has it caused lack of growth in our relationship that I want, but it's basically poisoning me. It's making me sick physically. So, for the overall benefit of everyone, forgiving is what I need to do. However, when I looked up how to forgive, there were a lot of articles and a lot of videos about understanding, which is not my weakness. I don't have a problem understanding other people and why they behave the way they behave and why they do the things they do. In fact, a lot of the reason why it's so hard for me to forgive is because I do understand why they do the things they do, and they still are, to me, it's unacceptable. That being said, God, where was I? Understanding is not forgiving. Understanding gives you a stepping stone to forgiveness, I think, but not always. It's a stepping stone that could possibly help you hop over to the next stepping stone, or it'll slip out from under you. So I want to document as best as I can my journey, if you will, of forgiveness. Something I've come to realize is that forgiveness is like love. It's not a feeling. It's something that you actively decide to do every single day. If there's something that needs to be forgiven, you can't just decide, oh, I forgive, and then that's that. For some of us, forgiveness comes with the connotation of betraying yourself. Although I don't, in a way, I do still feel this way, but at the same time, I also feel like forgiving when you need to is doing yourself a kindness. It is the hardest thing I'm seeing already. It is the hardest thing to do. And forgive someone who hurt you and betrayed you so badly. But It is what it is. If you need or you want to forgive someone or yourself, you've got to do it every single day. You know? It's essentially a spiritual practice. With that being said, lately, like recently, and pagans will understand this, the goddess Sigyn has been making herself an influence over my spirit realm. And if you don't know who she is, she's Loki's wife. She is the goddess of victory. She is the goddess of love and devotion and success, they say. Although victory and success are basically the same thing. However, if you know the story of Loki's punishment, you'll know that she absolutely devotes herself to compassion for Loki. And some, you know, it takes a lot of strength to be like Sigyn. So around the time she started influencing my spiritual realm is when I started getting very emotional for no reason. Like at first, to me, it was just like I just needed to cry. And lately, I have not been ashamed of crying. So I just cried. I let myself cry, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And then it started turning into a sense of comfortability and security with the person whom I am trying to forgive. And every time that feeling would come up, I would stop myself, because to me it felt like I was betraying myself, because what had happened really did hurt me, and it damaged me. So anytime I felt comfortable or felt kind of warm and loving, I would shut it down, because I would perceive that as me betraying myself. But then I would feel really guilty about that. I would feel really bad, because this person has been making efforts unprompted to rectify what has been damaged. So I would feel really guilty, and I felt very conflicted about how I felt, what I wanted, and what I deserved, and what they deserved, and just everything in my emotional, spiritual, mental existence was very confusing. And it still is. But recently I've decided that the route that I'm going to go is forgiveness. Partly because it is so freaking hard for me to do. For me to even grasp the concept of forgiveness is like probably the weakest point that I have in my character. And it's said, like, I know it sounds weird, because it makes sense to not forgive someone who has hurt you. It is completely logical. However, festering that anger and festering that hurt will make you sick. It'll make you emotionally sick, physically sick, and mentally sick. I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't like it. So, I am practicing forgiveness. I'm trying to. The first step that I was reading for forgiveness is to acknowledge your emotions. And I thought that, at the time of the events, I thought that I was acknowledging the emotions. But no, I suppressed them like crazy. I was not acknowledging them at all. So I can conclude that these bouts of crying and the emotional aspect lately is me finally acknowledging the feelings that I have been pushing aside and suppressing for so long. Because at the end of the day, what I really want to do is practice forgiveness, lighten the weight, and I don't even really want to say move on, but I'm tired of living a soul-crushing existence. I'm just tired of it. And I know now that in order to lighten the weight, I need to forgive. And I'm not even forgiving everybody who did me wrong. I'm just forgiving one person right now. 2 people if you want to count myself. There are things that I have done that I feel guilty over because I felt like it was justified. Things, the way I've treated this person as retaliation for how they treated me. Still can't really be compared, but I'm not proud of it. So I want to document my experience, my thought process, and my experience with actively practicing forgiveness.